Hi guys, my name is Megan, and today I've got some of my favorite books that I think would make really great TV or movie adaptations. Right. So today we're talking about some of my favorite books that I feel like would make really good adaptations, so let's go ahead and just dive right in. Alright, so first up I have Pole Position. This is a clear Formula One racing romance. This is following two drivers. One is like the golden boy of the team. He has been on the team for years. He is projected to be like one of the best ever in this sport, and like there's also whisperings of whether he should retire or not. It's also following a hotshot new driver who is finally getting his chance to be in the big leagues, and like they butt heads almost immediately and they have issues with each other. Like their management wants them to put up a show, whether it's fake or not, of them being good teammates, so they decide that, you know, they're gonna fake it till they make it, and then feelings happen. And I feel like this would make a really great movie, maybe like a Netflix or an HBO movie, but like this is so cinematic and sweet, and like the romance is very angsty about these two butting heads so much, but I feel like this would make a really great movie. And there is a second book, I haven't read it yet, but like movie series, that would be like perfect for this book, I think. Next up I have the Mead Mishaps series. This is a series I have not stopped talking about. This is like a romantasy adventure following black female main characters, two of whom are fat or plus size, and them falling in love with supernatural creatures that they didn't mean to fall in love with. And I feel like this would make a wonderful series like on Netflix or HBO or even Apple. I think this would be fantastic because it's a little bit out there, it's a really absurd, and like dragons, like, this would be such a good series. Next up we have the Soulbound series. This one is like a supernatural FBI crime thriller. So I feel like this would make a really cool urban fantasy TV series because each book could be about a season long, following Patrick Collins, who is FBI, or is the magical equivalent of an FBI agent. He falls in love with a werewolf, and there's lots of different mythologies within this. Like I could definitely see this being a fantastic TV series, kind of like Supernatural, but like a little bit more whimsical, a little bit more magical. Next up I have the North Shore Titans. So this would be I think this would be a really well done TV series, or like a limited series or a mini series, kind of like Heated Rivalry but darker, and make it a college hockey romance with like mafia influences. This is giving like CW but like darker and more adult. This is like one of my favorite unhinged hockey romances, and it's just, I feel like this would be a really fun dark romance to see as like a TV show. Next up I have the Spoiler Alert series. So this is a series that has a lot of fandom culture in it. I feel like this would be a really cool like mini series on HBO or Apple, especially with all of the fandom kind of aspects to it, and the fact that this series started its life as Game of Thrones RPF fan fiction. I feel like this would be so much fun to see on HBO because it's following fat girls in fandom and like actors on a TV show. Next I have the Breakaway series. This is also a hockey romance, so it would be following in the footsteps of Heated Rivalry. This one would have disability rep in it. It would also have some trans rep in it, and it would be super queer and also like angsty and really like delicious. This would be a great like CW show, I think, because it's following a disabled a disabled figure skater. It's following the youngest NHL captain. There's some enemies to lovers things in there. There's a trans woman of a up-and-coming rock band. There's friends to lovers. Like it's got everything, and I feel like this would be like a perfect TV show. If you've read these books, you would kind of get like, it's very cinematic, and the way that everything about this series just like would lend itself so well to a TV show. Next up I have Into the Drowning Deep. This one I think would make a fantastic horror movie. It is deep sea horror. It's following a crew that is going out to figure out what happened to a previous mockumentary crew that went out to make a mockumentary about mermaids, and something happened and everyone died. So this is a new crew following some of the same people that had been, like they have connections to the original boat that went out. One's sister was on it. There's family members that were on it. There are people that like were involved in the process of making the mockumentary or like the theorizing of what could be out there, that kind of stuff. And they are going out on a scientific research vessel to figure out what happened on the previous boat, but also looking for mermaids, and they find mermaids and they are murderous. And I feel like this would lend itself so well to the like horror movie kind of genre. This just is like the creeping of like being in the middle of the ocean when it's pitch black and having weird things start to go wrong, and like people disappearing from a boat and murderous mermaids showing up out of nowhere and trying to eat your face. Fantastic. This would be like the creepiest horror movie, I think. And next up I have Summer Suns. This one I feel like would also be a really fantastic horror movie. This has like Southern Gothic down to science. It's Andrew having these supernatural powers where he can see the ghost of his friend, and the ghost of his friend is trying to drag him to hell. And it's Fast and the Furious meets Southern Gothic, dark academia, and it's trying to solve a murder mystery and going to college, but also literally just trying to survive day to day with this weird superpower, or this weird power where this kid can see ghosts and it's ruining his life. This is one of the queerest books I've read, and this would 100% make a fantastic horror movie. Okay, and then as I was thinking about this, there's so many books that I feel like would make fantastic movies, but some honorable mentions that I have are the RELIC series. This is following dinosaur shifters, and they're like vigilante fossil hunters. I feel like this would make a fantastically funny animated series, but for like adults, this would be fantastic and funny and like super hilarious. Next up I have the Necessary Evils and Jericho's Boys series, which I feel like would be fantastic. They're dark romance, serial killers, that kind of stuff. I feel like these lean a little too heavily into BDSM dynamics to be on anything other than like Starz or HBO, and even then it might be a little too much for those, but I feel like this universe would be really great in like cinematic detail. Next up is an obvious one. Everybody always says that All for the Game would make a fantastic series. I feel that as well, but like it would have to be done so carefully because this series just means so much to the readers of the series. And I feel like if somebody like Jacob Tierney handled the writing of a series like All for the Game, I feel like this would make a really great series. Next up I have the Royals and Romance series. This I feel like would be a really interesting one to adapt because it's holidays personified. It's very much giving like the Santa Claus, but like meets red, white, and royal blue, and like it's very heavily political, but also like it's a really intense queer romance. I feel like it would be a really interesting one to adapt. And in that same vein, the entanglement of rival wizards and the fake divination offense, which I haven't read as of filming this video, but like I feel like these would make a really interesting urban fantasy TV series. I also have like the Brown Sisters series by Talia Hibbert. I feel like this would make a really fun romance movie series, kind of like a Hallmark movie, but like spicier. And then the last one I feel like would make a really good series would be like the Fence graphic novel series. I feel like that would be a really fun animated series just because it's, you know, it's graphic novel. So those are some of the books that I feel would make fantastic adaptations. Do you guys have books that you think would make great adaptations? Let me know down below. If you guys like this video, don't forget the like button. If you haven't already but would like to, go and hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to follow me on social media for more bookish stuff, check out the links down below. Alrighty, bye guys.